Hello and welcome back to Space Haven. We're calling this a new series. It's going to be Space Haven 3.1. We're doing a restart because they've done some significant changes to the game. This is an early access game, and I wanted to start a fresh playthrough based on the updated information. The biggest thing they updated recently is they increased the chances that you would actually find additional crew members as you travel through space. And since that's very important to your development, I'm going to start from scratch here. So let's jump right into it. So I've done some basic stuff here off camera. Nothing too crazy. One thing about this game, it is early access, so we don't have audio. I can't wait till they add a soundtrack to this game. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. All right, insufficient oxygen levels. All right, so let's check our oxygen levels. Do we have an oxygen problem? No, our oxygen seems to be okay. Yeah, no, she just lost. She was a little short of oxygen there. She seems to be okay. So we're just doing some basic construction here before we do our first jump in Space Haven. This is as I said, this is a complete restart of Space Haven because they did some significant upgrades to the game this week, and I wanted a fresh start with the new changes. So that's the reason we're starting fresh. If you followed this series before on our channel, we're doing a fresh start here. So basically in Space Haven, you start out on this initial platform here, and you're trying to build it into a spaceship so you can travel across the universe because the Earth has been destroyed. So we need to find a new home, basically. So all right, let's fast forward a little bit. We've got some construction ongoing, so let's let that construction commence. We're building up our food supplies here. Very critical. And food supplies, incidentally, are actually your best, I would argue it's your best trading item. So it has significant value because you can actually trade. For example, you could trade oranges, of all things. So let's make sure we plant some oranges for a significant amount of money. So let's build a balanced crop in each of our grow beds here. We've got these smaller grow beds, so let's just do fiber. Make sure we have a balanced diet, particularly important with this game. So we're just building out our grow beds. Now I've put our grow beds in a separate area because that allows you to put CO2 into this area, which increases the growth of the plants, which is why everybody goes in and out of there. Why did that stuff die? Bad environment temperature. Uh-oh. All right, there's always something in this game. All right, so it's really cold in there. Okay, so that was a bit of a fail. So we need to increase the temperature. Not hard to do. Okay, we'll put 2 thermal regulators in there. Make that a priority. That was a bit of a fail on my part. So let's make that a priority that we We're going to have to restart our plants now. That's a little disappointing. But we want to make sure we set up our grow bed here. All right, there we go. So we should be regulating temperature pretty quickly here. So we can go ahead and, all right, everything is basically growing again. We don't have to reset that. So let's put some artificial meat in this grow bed here, because that tends to grow a little slower than everything else. Alright, next thing we need to do is build a water collector. This doesn't have a traditional tutorial yet, but it still tells you in general what you should do next. So let's build a water collector. That's a good spot for it. Hopefully it'll be powered there. Right, our plants are growing. Right, there's our water collector being built. Welcome to the stream, everybody. If anybody has any questions about this game, if you're watching this on twitch.tv, Commando Gaming 1, please feel free to put your questions in the stream chat and I'll answer them as we go along. Alright, so once we build this water collector, okay. Alright, so we have an unreachable task over here. So we can actually expand a little bit. Do that. One of the things I noticed in my first playthrough, I was so excited about actually moving to another system that I rushed through some of my construction. So we're going to take a little more time in this third run through of the game. Make sure we get everything just right before we go ahead and proceed. Alright, so one thing that is important right now is that we build a recycler. Don't quite have room for the recycler yet, so we need to build, let's build the recycler. It's a very important piece of technology because we're about to go salvage a ship. Build recycler, build composter. So those are the things that we have to do next. Right, so we're adding our hull. So we can expand our growing just a little bit. More importantly, we can make sure that all areas of the growing area are accessible. We need a little bit more. Oh, we can't build there. That's the problem. Okay. Alright, so one thing we can do is we can actually move this. That's probably going to cause a power problem, so we're going to have to expand our power, like so. All right, now we're going to have to replant because we moved our planter. Let's get this power on the grid. Like so. All right. Now we got to build the composter as well, so at least we can. Where's that composter? Is it under food? resource? There it is, right in front of me. Right, so we can put the composter right there, so that actually works out just fine. All right, we got our composter now. So the next thing we need to actually do is we need to equip our crew members, because it's time for us to go over and seize a derelict. So, all right. So as I done in previous videos, I've already predetermined who my boarding party is going to be, and I always put them in red uniforms so I can clearly identify them. So let's have our boarding party report over to supplies so we can arm them up. Okay. I haven't yet seen a reason for everybody to have a secondary weapon. I'm assuming as the game gets fully developed, we're going to have situations where everybody needs a secondary weapon. Okay, so let's get, let's see, Minerva. Minerva, you need to move over. This is a little clunky right now. I wish you could just tell them what to pick up instead of you having to physically control them to pick up their items. Okay. Beck has a gun. And Mikey. Does Mikey have a gun? All right, everybody has a gun. So we're going to take our boarding party, highlighted with the use of the red uniforms. Tell them to get into their spacesuits. Make sure you tell them to get into their spacesuits, otherwise it will not go well. All right, so once you've selected them, they're in their spacesuits. We're going to tell them to go into the shuttle. First time I did this, it took me forever to figure out how to do this correctly. Sometimes they were going in without their spacesuits. Sometimes they didn't have oxygen in their spacesuits. It was a real headache in the early access game. Early access. All right, so once you have everybody in the shuttle, all you have to do is select dock and select the airlock for the derelict, and it will go over there automatically. You don't have to guide it. Alright. Then it's real easy just to have everybody leave the shuttle to go on the derelict. Now I almost guarantee that we're going to have aliens on this derelict, so we have to be prepared for that. I remember the first time I encountered the aliens, I was like, what the heck? I was not prepared. Right, we might not get aliens on this derelict. Usually I would see one by now, so this might be a alien-free derelict. All right, we see some supplies that we can capture. That's great. Any aliens here? Any aliens home? No. A sleep chamber. All right, so remember how I told you earlier that you have the ability to find crew members? This is the first time it's ever happened to me because they've increased the chance. All right, so before we do that, because I'm not sure how to do that yet, let's go. Oops. All right, let's have our crew go back and get oxygen. This is good. So first of all, we found out that there's aliens. So there's probably some aliens further on in the ship. So we should probably finish off the aliens before we worry about freeing that crew member. But us getting an additional crew member this early in the game is a game changer. Game changer. I've put in 100 hours in this game on previous playthroughs, and we did not find any additional crew members. So us finding a crew member is a big change in the game. That's why I wanted to start from scratch. All right, got an alien. Come on, take him out. Another alien. Engage him at long range. Oh, another alien. Uh-oh, multiple aliens. Oh, they're coming out of the woodwork. Let's get to a defensible place. Whew. So, the aliens kind of set up an ambush for us there. Made us feel like there wasn't any alien occupation, and then blammo, they set up a nice little ambush for us. If you're watching the stream, please feel free to ask any questions you have about the game. Happy to answer any questions you might have. We're just exploring this derelict ship that we just found. All right, so the ship is ours. Let's go back for oxygen. Salvage available. All right. Crew. Okay. Transfer. All right, so we're going to select all. That's some good salvage. Good salvage on the ship. So we'll make that a priority as well. All right, now we got to figure out how to free this crew member. My concern is the crew member's not going to be in a spacesuit. All right. So I've never done this before. If we can actually get another crew member this early in the game, that is an exciting change to this game. All right, so let's see what happens when we do this. All right. All right, we have another crew member. Is she in a spacesuit? Leah. Leah is our new member, and she came out in a spacesuit. Oh, but she's running out of oxygen. So let's make sure we get oxygen, people. Come on. We have a new crew member. That's exciting. Okay, and she immediately becomes part of your drafted crew, which is cool. All right. So what we need to do is highlight everybody. We're going to undraft. We're going to undraft the shuttle. Okay, so before we get ahead of ourselves, we need to change our work schedule now that we have Leah available. Oh, or no, wait, is Arabella our new? All right, irregardless. Okay, so let's we're going to put the new crew member on the night crew. This greatly increases our crew this early in the game to have a 4th or 7th member of our crew. Alright, so that's exciting. Alright, so they're going to focus on salvage. Alright, so let's find out what our new crew member is all about. Okay. She has good navigation. She's a lower level crew member, so she will gain skills over time, but she's definitely not going to be our strongest crew member, which is fine. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is build a hull stabilizer. Alright. We need to build a hull stabilizer. Where can we fit this where it's going to be kind of out of the way? It's going to be powered. Right, we'll put the hull stabilizer there for now. Not the most aesthetically pleasing thing, but that'll work. Right. So our crew's working on salvage. Can't believe we have 7 crew members already. Welcome to everybody that's joining the stream. We're in the early stages of a playthrough of Space Haven. We're still building our initial ship before we do our first hyperspace jump. If you played this before, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, then you'll see as we go along. Alright, so our crew members are happy. We've got a new crew member. We just saved them from a derelict. That's exciting. Alright, we're building our hull stabilizer. Okay, so one thing we need to do now that we have some resources coming in. What do we have the most of? Alright, we'll have it build some hull scrap in the recycler. As you can see, we're taking up resources from this derelict ship and taking it back to our ship. I'll do some construction. Oh. We gotta get our composter working on. Alright. So we have some monster meat, so let's make that continuously. Monster corpse continuously. So we need to make sure we have plenty of fertilizer, because that's a very valuable resource they just added in the latest update. Right, there's our host stabilizer. We've achieved hull stability. Right, so we're going to build a hyperdrive and navigation console. Okay, very important. We build this hyperdrive. Meanwhile, we're bringing salvage back from the other ship. There's some of the salvage coming back. got our hyperdrive. We need to extend power to the hyperdrive. So we'll do that. Ooh, that won't work. That will not work because then we don't have access. So we gotta switch to a in-floor power node. That's what I should have done. Luckily you don't lose resources when you just take something apart and put it back together. In many games, you do lose resources. Now, I think that might change once we get the final version of this game. There might be a cost associated with switching. All right, so we need to build our navigation console. So one thing I want to do, again, in the past we kind of rushed to our first jump, but I want to make the most of what we can do here. So we're gonna actually build our command area the right way before we jump. We've got plenty of resources. Now when you see a warning about insufficient oxygen levels, your AI your non-player characters will just push it to the last second before they get oxygen. So don't let that freak you out if you get a low oxygen notification. Most of the time it's going to be okay. But you do want to check on it and just make sure that they eventually get oxygen. I've had crew members in early versions of this game actually suffocate just because the AI just refused to go get oxygen. I don't know why. If you guys are watching the stream, please feel free to ask any questions you might have about this game. We're in the opening stages of a new playthrough of Safe Haven because they've updated. This is an early access game and they just did a significant update to the early access, so I wanted to start from scratch. Right, so we're just building out our area that'll eventually be our command and control section for the ship. Okay. And we want to build out the wall so we can separate our living quarters from the command deck, which is very important for overall comfort. Let's check our comfort. All right, so our comfort is not that bad. As you can see, the water collector causes a lot of discomfort in the greenhouse area, but that's nothing you can really do anything about. All right, so let's build our navigation. All right, systems. All right, we have to build our navigation console. And we have to build our operations console before we can take off. We're also going to have to give that section power. So let's go ahead and put a power node right there because that area is going to eventually need a lot of power. So we'll do a full power node. Okay, so we got a question from Ordino98. Can you colonize planets? I have not seen the ability to colonize planets yet, but again, this is a very early access version of this game. Is it something that wouldn't surprise me? Because a lot of the play style is from Ringworld, which does allow you to do colonization. So I wouldn't be surprised, because eventually your goal is to find a new home for your people. So I think you could colonize planets maybe once we get the full version of the game. Right now it's all about developing your ship, exploring the universe, gathering resources, and surviving. But I think that would be a really cool aspect of the game if they did allow you to do colonization. Thank you for the question. Hopefully you'll subscribe to our channel and follow us as we continue playing this game if you're interested in it. If there's any other questions, please feel free to shout them out in the chat room. All right, let's put this in fast forward here. Let's finish this construction. Everybody's having their coffee, getting their sleep. Luckily, we picked up a 7th crew member early on in the game. So even though we have 4 of our crew members sleeping at a time, we also have 3 other ones working at a time. Okay, from where do you get food? All right, that's another good question. So food is actually addressed through these greenhouse facilities right here. If we click into one, you'll see that we are growing root vegetables, artificial meat. If we click on another one, we have fruits, roots, vegetables, and artificial meat. Over here we have fiber. So not only do you grow your own food, but food is actually one of the most valuable things for you to trade in the game, because you can trade with other ships later on in the game, and everybody wants to pay you a lot of money for food. So another good question. Any other questions about the game? I'll be happy to answer them. Oh, you're more than welcome. Thank you for joining the stream, and hopefully you'll enjoy our channel and visit us for future voyages in Space Haven. Okay, so now our objective is now to execute a hyperspace jump. So we can do that. I want to make sure we've taken everything from this ship that we can, and we haven't done that yet. So what we're going to actually do is we're going to prioritize. If you click on the salvage, the derelict ship, we can prioritize salvage, so everybody will focus on getting the salvage. And if we do that along with fast forwarding, we should complete the salvage much faster. So let's give you a little visual about what's going on this other ship. As you can see, our crew members are actually tearing apart the derelict with our mining pods and manually within the derelict and collecting the resources. Let's hook up this power. All right, so now technically we can do the jump at any time, but I want to make sure we do as much stuff here as we can. So we're definitely going to make sure we get all of the salvage off of this ship. Very important. As you can see, our crew members are working on picking up the salvage, putting it on the shuttle. It then gets taken back on the shuttle, and then the shuttle comes back for another load of resources. So it's very similar to RimWorld if you played this RimWorld. This is a very fun game. The AI has some bugs that it needs to work out as far as what the non-player characters do. You have to kind of micromanage them a little more than I would like. As you can see in the comments section here, all of our non-player characters are having real interactions. Some of them are unhappy, some of them are sad, some of them are hungry, and all that impacts their production. Okay, so we're still clearing out that other ship. Until we completely take the resources from the other ship, we're not going to leave. If anybody has any more questions, don't be shy. I enjoy this game quite a bit, and I might not have all the answers, but I'll give you the answers that I have. The cool thing about this game is that they are updating it, even though it's early access. They have an update at least once a week with some significant changes to the gameplay, which is why sometimes I find myself restarting quite a bit. But you get a little better at the game each time that you restart, so it's not a big deal. Alright, I think we're done. Are we done with our salvage? No, there's still some salvage going on. Every bit of resources you can get in this game are critical, so that's why we're taking the extra time to make sure that we get every resource we can off of that ship. Okay, one thing we can do is we can, let's see, let's look at our, this is what you use basically to tell your crew what their priority should be. So we should have a couple crew members prioritizing botany. We should have a couple crew members prioritizing logistics. We should definitely have several that are interested in mining. So you kind of want to space that out so everybody has priorities as a team. Okay. Right, so the shuttle, you can always tell you're done with salvage if the shuttle stops going back and forth to the derelict, then that tells you that you're done with salvage. So when in doubt, watch the shuttle. If the shuttle parks itself, that means it's done with salvage and it's ready to move forward. All right, we got a good question here, again from Ordino98. Thanks again. Would you recommend this game now or wait till full release? I would recommend it now. It's really fun to play. And if I had to guess, I would say it's about 75% completed. Which, you know, you can have a lot of fun with early access games as long as you understand that they're early access games. There's going to be some bugs. There's going to be some improvements as you give feedback. I mean, I play this game maybe 10 or 12 hours a week, and I probably have sent information to the developers probably at least once or twice a week, telling them about bugs or something that seems unusual or giving them suggestions about how they can improve the game. So that's one of the nice things about early access games, is you actually can interact with the developers and give them feedback on their game and make the game a little better. So I enjoy that. I've seen a couple things that I've suggested get implemented. Now those could have been things that they already had in mind or things that somebody else suggested previously. So I'm not saying I'm going to take any credit for it, but it is kind of cool to see if you said, hey, you should allow X to happen, and then in a couple weeks you're allowed to do it. So that's kind of cool. All right, so we're almost done with the deconstruction of this ship. So yeah, I would definitely recommend this as an early access game. It's still really fun to play. All right, so I think we're close to done with salvage here. Kind of fast forward here. One good thing about this game is if you don't have anything that you need to control or micromanage, you can really just put it into fast forward and let everybody do what they need to do. Alright, so we're almost done with the salvage here. As you can see, we're on day 10. Normally, I would have jumped maybe day 5 or 6, but I want to make the most of every opportunity here. Alright, critical resource low, water. Uh-oh. Alright, so why is water low? Alright, so here's our water purifier. So what we could do is we could prioritize this, and then we can actually give it a job to someone. To say, hey, basically, why aren't you guys making water? Oh, because it's not set up to make water. It should be. I don't know why it wasn't. So now we should make water. There we go. All right, so we can actually assign it to Jenna here, and she will stop whatever she's doing and make some water for us. Okay. So now that the shuttle has docked, we know our salvage is done. Let's go to our recycler. The recycler is very important because it helps us take the scrap and queue it up. So we'll actually take the scrap that we took from the enemy vessel and make materials out of it for our ship. In the meantime, let's do our first jump. Alright, this is a lot of fun. So as you can see, a crew member goes to the navigation area. And we still have members. We still have somebody in that mining pod. So we have to wait for that mining pod to dock so we can take off. As you can see, there's little indicators right here telling you, hey, it's not safe to jump. You'll lose a crew member. So let's go ahead and jump. All right. So our next spot, we'll do a hyper jump to this location here. So there's our hyper jump, as you can see. Pretty straightforward. And when you get to an area, you can actually select where you want your ship to be. I almost always put it as close to the derelict as possible. Right, there we go. We're back in normal space. Now, in this system, there's mining available. So I like to do the mining before I do the salvaging of the derelict. So we can get Hyperium, which gives us the ability to do hyper jumps, and we have ice, which is self-explanatory, I think, for what we need ice for. What will happen when you visit the system? Well, I think we just showed you. So basically, we just jumped into another system, the system that was next door, and now we're sending our crew to mine the resources first. All right, so while they're mining, there's some other things we can do. All right, so we need to become more efficient with our food now that we have some extra space. So we're going to dismantle our smaller food beds, and we're going to build more efficient food beds. Eventually, right? So we deconstruct the old bed, and then we're going to build a full-size bed. Right, we can actually build 2 more full-size beds. So let's do that. Again, food is a very valuable trade resource. Yeah, we got some energy problems. So let's look at that, try to figure out what energy problems we have here. All right, so we're consuming. All right, that's just some power fluctuation. I think we'll be okay. Let's slow down the speed. All right. because we are not putting enough resources into our generator. Okay, so again, what we can do here is our generator needs energy. So this is one of the quirky things about the game I would like to see upgraded is, all right, somebody put a fuel rod into our generator. So we can actually select somebody. All right. We'll make it our one of the highest priorities. All right, come on. All right, there we go. So we fixed the power problem. All right, now one thing we can do is we can add another generator. I definitely would like to do that because the generator is a little underpowered. We don't quite have the resources. We need infra blocks, which we can get from let's stop building that for now. We can actually get infra blocks from doing salvage. So we can do that once we might actually build another power generator, because our power generator is starting to be overwhelmed and it's causing power problems. We don't want that because we can lose crops. We could lose power at the wrong time, like for example when we want to escape from pirates. So we definitely want to increase our power consumption, our output, I should say. Okay, so Minerva is putting energy rods in, but we don't have quite, and now one thing I could do, it's kind of a stopgap measure. We do have solar, no, we can't even build solar panels. So we're just kind of, we have too much going on for our power supply. So we're going to have some fluctuations for a little while. Okay, so we're done with our mining. So let's go capture our new derelict. So we're going to get our red squad, which again, I keep in red uniform, so I know that they are my boarding party. Something I learned quite a while ago is you can just put your boarding party all in red, and we'll have them get into their spacesuits. Okay, we're gonna have them then get into the shuttle. Always make sure they get into their spacesuits before they get into the shuttle. I've found that out the hard way. Nothing more frustrating than when your crew show up at the other ship and they don't have their spacesuits on. All right, let's go ahead and dock at the derelict. Okay, whenever you get into the derelict, make sure that you go to slow speed, because we're almost certainly going to be engaged with aliens here. All right, so let's go in slowly. Watching for aliens. There's aliens there. So what I like to do is I like to back off. Since the aliens don't have weapons, try to engage them at long range as much as possible. I haven't seen a mechanic that shows that you run out of ammunition, so I always try to engage the enemy at long range. Right, kind of draw them out, retreat, engage at long range. We can also jump over here. with our spacesuits. That'll give us a better angle of attack. All right. All right, let's keep exploring. Try to keep engaging the aliens at long range. Let's make sure we get oxygen. One thing you don't want to do is be fighting the aliens while you're running out of oxygen, because that can cause your crew to panic. It's one thing to be fighting aliens, it's another to be fighting aliens while you're running out of oxygen. Trust me. Not something that you want to do. Alright, let's see if we can finish this salvage. If you're watching this stream, please feel free to ask any more questions that you have about this game. Really enjoy this game. Can't recommend it enough. Even though it's early access, I'm very confident that you will enjoy the game, find it challenging, find it fun. Oh, we got some more aliens. Oh, they kind of ambushed me. Alright. Alright, so we've captured this ship. So we're going to pause. We're going to see what we have available on the ship. So we've got some water, some energy rods, infra blocks, which we desperately need right now. Tech blocks. Alright, so this is all good stuff. So we're going to make sure we select all. Make sure we set it up for transfer. And we've got some pretty good salvage off this derelict as well. We've done all the mining, so we'll make the salvage expedited. Then we're going to deselect our crew, so the AI takes control of them. Deselect the shuttle, and salvage will commence without our control. So I think what we really need to do now is really consider addressing our power generation issues. We need 2 more infra blocks, which we should get pretty quickly here if we continuously build infra scrap. So I think we need to, while the salvage is going on, let's expand our engineering section. Like so, because we want to build another generator. Because our power problems are not something that we should ignore. Nothing worse than running out of power in space, let me tell you. In fact, what we'll do is we'll unexpedite the salvage so we can actually do the building of the generator at the same time. That doesn't mean that your salvage will stop, it just means your crew members will do other things in addition to salvage. So we had a question in the chat room. What will happen when you visit all the systems? Well, let me show you the systems here. So this is the galaxy we're currently in. Then you have all these other places that you can go. I have not gotten close. The farthest I've gotten is maybe exploring 8 of these galaxies before I decided that I needed to do a restart because of the changes to the game. So I don't know what happens. Maybe halfway through you find a home and that's the end of the game, or maybe you have to get to the last galaxy to find your home. That's something I'm looking forward to seeing. Any other questions about this game? I'd be happy to field those. I have played quite a bit, even though we did a restart on the game with this episode, so I should be able to answer a lot of questions if you have any. Really appreciate everybody checking out the stream today. If you're watching this on YouTube, we do stream this live on twitch.tv at Commando Gaming 1, so check out our schedule so you can watch us play a game live sometime. Alright, so as you can see, we're expanding out our hull. Power is becoming more and more of a problem. So building a new generator has got to be a priority here. Hopefully we can finish expanding the hull so we can build another generator. We have enough resources to do it now. Okay, so we're going to build the biggest generator we can build. Absolutely. Alright, can we fit it in yet? No, they need to finish construction of the hull. Stand by. We're close to getting this second generator built. Okay, we should have enough room to build that second generator now. Okay, so we're definitely going to make that a high construction priority. All right, so let's link in this generator to our power supply, and voila, we now have our power problems are now behind us. All right, now we're going to double down on power, because power is something you can't get enough of in this game. So I'm actually going to build a second generator because we have the resources right now. I do not want to have any power problems. So I would rather have ample power than have a shortage of power. Okay. So we're building a third generator. There's still salvage going on, so we're still being productive with our salvage. And we're going to have plenty of power right now. Can't emphasize how important having power is in this game. So once we complete this second generator, we'll probably end the stream here. Oh, we got some questions. Your mic is a little low. Okay, I'll definitely turn that up. Good feedback. All right, how about now? Is sound up a little bit better here? We don't want to be a little too low. All right, thanks thanks, hang in there, bud, for your feedback. Really appreciate it. All right. So as I said, we're going to hopefully finish this second generator, or this third generator, because power is not something that we want to have a problem with. And then after that, we're going to end the stream on that note and end this video. If you're interested in watching this game, I am not going to play it off camera so if you're interested in watching how this series progresses, please follow our channel so you get an update when we are streaming this game, and then you can watch it from start to finish. All right, let's finish the second. Okay, critical resources low, hull block. That's fine. We've added a lot of hull, so I'm not too worried about that. All right, there we go. There's our third generator. We link this into the power grid, like so. And look at that. Our power generation is right where it needs to be. Especially if we get this second generator going. So one thing we can do now is we can actually move this generator over here. I think that would be a good priority project. So we can spread out where our generators are. That'll help our power supply in the long run. All right, we need to quickly rebuild that generator. Oh, I know what we need to do. So we need to actually put that there and reconnect our power grid. Because all of our power was originally going through that original generator. So that's why we're having some power fluctuations right now. We actually are generating the power. We just need to link up the power generation. Come on, do it. I made it a priority task. Right, there goes that generator. So this generator has been rebuilt. So let's link that to the grid. Like so. That'll take care of a lot of our power problems. And if we link this and that should resolve our power problems. There we go. Uh-oh. Cannot reach temperature, build more thermal regulators. So one thing about this game is there's always more things that you need to do. So we're actually going to end the stream here. Once again, subscribe to our channel. We'll be playing this game continuously. Well, not continuously, but a lot over the next couple weeks. So please subscribe to our channel, and I will commit to only playing this game while we're streaming. So if you're interested in this game, please subscribe to our channel, and you can, or follow our channel, and then you can see the streams as it happens live. You can also check our videos out at Commando Gaming at youtube.com. Sorry, brain freeze there. So if you go to Commando Gaming at youtube.com, you can certainly see our expanded videos, not only of this game, but other games, including Satisfactory. And if you enjoy this game, I think you would definitely like Satisfactory as well. So we'll see you on the next stream, and thank you for joining us. Talk to you soon.